There's 3 key things in here, and you got to take this home with you. They failed because of their inability to work as a team. I'm sitting down with the CEO, the guy's name's Bob, and he is having a high turnover problem. He's the CEO, and in the organization, several of his vice presidents have quit, a couple of the other managers and things like that. And he's talking to me about his struggles, and I said, you know, it sounds like there's kind of some teamwork problems. And he goes, you bet there is. And I said, I'm just curious, Bob, can you define for me what a team means? Remember yesterday we were talking about on time and how important it is to get clarity on what things mean? I said, so Bob, give me your definition of a team. He goes, you know what I see a team as? I see a team as 100 people in my company doing exactly what I say. How many of you guys understand one of Bob's problems? Right? And remember we talked about if your name's high enough on the org chart, you can demand and yell and coerce and scream and do anything you want, you know, because you're up here, as opposed to living by a set of ethics and values that the whole company does. I find it interesting that companies that stress customer service and have these plaques and signs all over the wall and will actually yell at frontline employees for providing poor customer service, as managers will be completely out of control, upset, angry, screaming and yelling at someone because you're an employee. But hey, after I get done kicking the ass, I want you to fire up and go take care of those customers, because remember, I love you. The inability to work as a team, to give and take, to be flexible, to share power, to let other people have their time in the sun, to be able to communicate, look at different ideas, to be able to doubt themselves. Secondly is they have an inability to handle change. Remember our guy yesterday, 1 year of experience repeated 20 times? I want you to consider this. Across the years of doing this kind of work, when I go and talk to frontline managers, supervisors, mid-level managers, that group as a whole, and I say, how many books have you read in the last 12 months about becoming a better manager? I mean, where you actually sat down and spent time trying to get thoughts, ideas, and insights on how to be a better manager. Across 15 years and thousands of managers, what do you think the average answer is? Yes, it's less than 1. It's about 0.3, 0.4. The average manager goes anywhere between 2 and 3 years between investing any time in becoming a better manager, other than firing the idiots that work for him and trying to get better people in here that understand how great he is. And the last thing is they have very, very poor interpersonal relationships. If you want to take and fundamentally change whatever organization you're in, work with the leadership to become better at handling change, anticipating and adapting to it, be stronger at working a team where they're a part of it and they're able to have the give and take to do that, and that they develop stronger and higher quality interpersonal relationships. In other words, this is a breakthrough science. You may want to write this down. As a manager, if you're an idiot, you won't be effective. And that's so obvious that it's painful, and yet, how often does that get violated? By us. Haven't you guys ever been in charge and just gotten sick and tired of the stupid people you're working with and verbally, mentally, or emotionally just slapped them? You know, because you're a professional, you're trained, you have a degree. Emotional intelligence skills were the #1 predictor of high quality results. In other words, if you scored high on our emotional intelligence scales, I could predict that you were going to be more successful than your peers and the other people you were with. So, why do people get stuck? I share this. Well, Chris, if this is so good, why doesn't everybody do it? #1, people don't want to pay the price to get better. People don't want to pay the price to develop self-awareness. People don't want to pay the price to develop the skills and habits. And secondly, people don't want to get rid of their bad attitudes. So when I was with the city of Encinitas, which is just outside of San Diego, I have all the everyone who's a leader, everybody, the fire captains and the fire sergeants and the police sergeants and the police guys and water and everything, they're all going through my classes. And one of the most common responses was, hey, okay, I get it, I have to be nice. Tell me what to do. What do I need to do? And when someone says that to you, what they're basically saying is, I'm going to make you responsible for my life. You tell me, I'll do it, and then it's going to fail, and I'm going to blame you because I'm not going to take responsibility for my life. Whenever you start to create change in your organization and the response from the people is just tell me what you want me to do, they're basically saying screw you, but they're doing it in a very nice politically correct way. It's true. Second, would you all agree that our economy today is a new reality? And the things are different than they've ever been. And a new reality requires new skills. We talked about my favorite quote from Einstein yesterday, which is, same level of thinking that created a problem cannot, you got it. You need a new level of thinking. And I would say a new reality requires new skills. Third, nothing great is ever achieved without the power of emotion behind it. I absolutely detest the idea that, well, you know, when you come to work, you got to check your emotions at the door. Really? So how am I going to get excited about good customer service if I have no emotion? How am I going to get excited about building the vision of my company if I have no emotion? That passion is what drives stuff. And if our leadership style is to crush the very will to live of the people that work for us until they understand that I am the king, probably not going to be incredibly successful. And my last challenge is that emotions in the workplace, would you agree, have not always been really accepted? Sometimes the best answers come out of a very passionate debate in a leadership team meeting over whether they're going to choose A or choose B. The problem, and I've shared this for years, organizational development, #1 organizational problem across fields, across businesses, is people do not tell the truth. You get in a meeting, and we're discussing plan A or plan B. You know that plan B won't work. You have data to do it, but you don't want to share it because every time you do, he shoots you down. So you don't say anything in the meeting, and you wait until the meeting's over, and all the communication happens in the meeting after the meeting where you pull together, you go, Justin, you believe that crap? Me neither. I cannot believe that he is still in charge. I don't know why they won't do that. There is not a lack of knowledge about what to do. There's a lack of ability to exchange it. And nothing ever happens in the meeting, because nobody tells the truth. Everything happens in the meeting after the meeting. Not in your business, but you know, in other places, stuff like that goes on. The emotions, this is good stuff, huh? Emotions haven't always been welcome. Here's what I'd like you to consider. If life is 10% of what happens to you, i.e. a bad economy and the whole housing market tumbling, and 90% what we do about it, do you have a high degree of control? You have 100% control of how you respond, and I would suggest that you have the power, especially if you can develop emotional intelligence as a skill set, to truly control your world and move forward. 5 keys. This is probably, if you want to take any notes, this is what I want you to take. There are 5 behaviors that we tend to measure, look at, observe that really define emotional intelligence and what it is. The first of these is self-awareness. And I'm going to go into a little more depth of what each of these are, but to a large degree, self-awareness says, can you see yourself the way other people see you? And I'll just tell you, if you're on your 3rd wife, you don't possess self-awareness. Okay, just kind of need to understand that one. Or you didn't on the first 2, and you do now that you've gotten there. Number 2, self-regulation. Do you have the ability to keep yourself in check? And I want you, how many guys have had this experience? You're talking to someone, and they say something that really ticks you off, right? And you're ready to just cut loose on them. And this little voice in your head says, don't do it, it won't go well. And you listen to that voice. How many guys have done that? That's self-regulation. Does that kind of make sense? Not what the situation is. It's, do you have the ability to listen to and respond to yourself and regulate yourself? 3rd is, do you have the ability to motivate yourself? Can you get yourself to do the things that are most in alignment with your highest values? Or do your own insecurities, your own fears, your own emotions, your own trouble get you in the way? You are with your wife. You love your wife. Your wife loves you. You've just had a fight. You're right and she's wrong, at least that's what you think. And this little voice says, you know what, your wife's been having a hard time, she probably needs a little bit of extra help and support, you ought to go and apologize. And you know you should, and you know if you do, things are going to be better. And you go, you know what, I'm tired of apologizing, I just want to nail the woman, let her have a bad night, because it's about time I won an argument. That's someone that isn't real good at motivation. 4th one is empathy. Do you have the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes? Can you feel what they feel? Can you process the world the way that they process it? You can run, there's 2 computers over here, there's a Mac and there's an IBM. They both use different operating systems. And you will have people argue that Macs are better, right? Other people will argue that PCs are better. They will both accomplish stuff. They have a different way of processing the